Hey, it's Tuesday, y'all. We're jumping back into our Fruit of the Spirit booklet, so go ahead, grab those out. We're going to be opening it up. The next page we're going to be doing is patience. So far we should have love, joy, and peace written down, and they should be going in order. So you should open it up. You see Galatians 5:22 through 23, and then you should see love, and then you should see joy, if I get there. Hold on. There we go. Then we got joy, then we got peace, and then the next one's going to be patience. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on that for you so you guys can copy down the picture. And then remember, you guys are going to have to write James 5:7 through 8. That is the one you must write. You must write it. Write that one in there. And then you have to choose between Psalm 37:7 or Romans 8:25 or Romans 12:12. So you can choose any one of those three to write down along with James 5:7 through 8. And then you're going to talk about how you're going to show patience. All right, get that? Got it good? Sweet. I've been having to show patience. I bought an air conditioner for my garage because that's where I'm doing all my filming. And it gets hot up in here. Like a couple days ago, I was like sweating. You can see me in the video. I'm like wiping the sweat off my face because it gets hot, y'all. So I got an air conditioner for my garage, and it was supposed to be delivered on like Wednesday of last week. And then it keeps saying like, it's almost here. And every time I checked on the UPS thing, it'd be like, it's going to be delivered today. And then at 9 o'clock that night, it's like, it will be delivered tomorrow. All right. So dude actually came up my street, like dropped off at a house, 2 houses down, dropped off something. And he pulled a U-turn in a cul-de-sac and drove away. I was like, what about me? What about me? I bought some stuff too. And it was kind of funny that today's message is on patience, because God is trying to teach me to have patience. All right, it's hard, I know it is, but we can get through it. Awesome. So I'm going to zoom in on that thing for you guys. Get out those colored pencils, markers, crayons, whatever you're using, and you're also going to need those Bibles as well. All right, here we go. Picking up with our Fruit Basket Friends stories as you guys are working on your Fruits of the Spirit booklets. Just a reminder, these booklets will be turned in for a grade, so you want to be doing the best job you can with your coloring and the way you write them, and to make sure that you write out the entire verses, not just the first sentence, but the entire verse. You want to make sure you have them copied down correctly, because each one of these things on here is worth points, which go towards basically like a verse test grade. So if you put in some effort, you can get like 100%. It's not that hard. Cool, so we're talking about patience today, and our story is about the long-suffering lemons. Now, long-suffering, that just means patience, like means you can suffer a long time. So, once there was a poor family in the orchard whom everybody called the long-suffering lemons. I say they were poor because no one understood them. Nobody would buy them either. Very often, city people came to the orchard to buy fruit, but they never stopped at the lemon tree. After all, these people would tell the farmer, "We cannot eat lemons. Why should we pay good money for sour fruit? Let us have peaches and apples." One day, the farmer who owned the orchard decided something must be done. He was going to cut down that lemon tree. At supper that evening, he told his wife what he was going to do. "You can't do that," she protested. "It took many, many years to grow that tree." "Why not?" the man argued. "It just takes up space in the orchard. Nobody will buy the lemons. We can plant another orange tree there." "No, don't cut it down yet. Give me a few days," Mrs. Farmer told him. "I'll think of something, some way to make that tree useful." Meanwhile, out in the orchard, all the other fruit trees and berries whispered together, wondering what fate would befall the lemons. After all, they were not paying their way. Cherry Blossom declared that they were just bums. They soaked up sunshine and water without contributing any sweet fruit. Apple Core shamed the lemons for being so sour. He told them they could surely try to be a little sweeter. Peachy remarked they must be too lazy to try. But, he argued, it would be a shame to have them cut down, for they do have a delightful fragrance. However, they all agreed that the farmer really was not interested in any smell, no matter how delightful, if it could not be sold. Through all this idle chatter and pointed criticism, the lemons remained long-suffering. They did not strike back at their accusers, nor even point out that they could not help the way they were created. They simply hung their little yellow heads and wished they too could be used and valued. Perhaps someday things will be different for us, they sighed to one another. The leader of one of the great clusters hanging on the arbor rail wondered how the lemons could have such a sweet attitude and yet have such sour fruit. He watched to see how much taunting the lemons would take before they began to strike back. All this time, Mrs. Farmer had been thinking hard. She sat on the front porch in her rocking chair and thought and thought. The more she thought, the faster she rocked until that old chair was fairly flying. At last she stopped and headed for the kitchen at a fast pace. She decided to juice the lemons as she did the oranges and let her imagination take over from there. My, that looks pretty, she said, holding up a glass of lemon juice. She had squeezed 8 lemons and she took a big swallow of the liquid and it screwed up her face and she almost choked. She coughed for a few seconds and finally got her breath back. That will never do, she sputtered. Perhaps if I put some sugar in it, it would take away the tartness. So she poured in half the sugar bowl and tasted again. That was better, but it still nearly curled her eyelashes and it did make her gasp. Too strong. Maybe I should dilute it. So Mrs. Farmer poured out a tall glass of cold water to which she added some of the lemon mixture. Very carefully, she took a sip, then a bigger swallow, then a gulp. It was good. Quickly, she mixed up another glassful, this time putting ice cubes in it. She ran to her husband to show her husband this new lemon concoction. He eyed it doubtfully. But when he tasted it, he drained the whole glass. He smiled proudly at his wife and said proudly, "You have solved our problem of the lemons. We can sell this delicious drink to the people who come to buy our fruit. Let's call it Farmer's Lemonade." That's a great idea, his wife agreed, and I'll learn to make lemon pies and lemon torts and goodness knows what else. I'm sure glad you talked me out of cutting down that tree. Look what we had missed. The lemon tree breathed a huge sigh of relief. Soon after, when the people came wandering through the orchard, they were carrying tall glasses of the delicious new drink. They all exclaimed over the lemon tree now and were delighted at how good it had turned out to be. The lemons were proud as punch. Or I guess they should be proud as lemonade, right? They were so glad they had been long-suffering. They had stayed patient. Now everybody wanted to be their friend. Orange Blossom apologized for the mean things she had said. Applecore said he was ashamed of himself for shaming them, and Peachy observed that the lemons had certainly had a good attitude throughout the whole ordeal. However, did they do it? She wanted to know. Oh, that's why we're called long-suffering lemons, because we can take almost any unpleasantness without being gripey or mean. See how many friends it's brought us in the end? Besides, you just never know who might be watching you in your life to see how you're going to act. And the leader of the great cluster, hanging on the arbor rail, quietly smiled and said nothing. All right, that's the end of our story for today. Go ahead and hit pause if you're still copying down the verses and you need to be able to see what you need to write. And that way you can see what you need. All right, hope everybody's doing well. And I will check in with you guys at math time.